Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar training for MoSo's Atlas release. I'm going to go ahead and get started right away on all of the exciting enhancements and features that we have to talk about today for this new release that should be coming to you in late November. All right, so to begin, let's just take a look at an overview of what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to be discussing the topics of agreements, any changes, enhancements, and features that were made to our agreements module, discounts, gift cards, expected service provider, and reporting. Agreements is going to be the largest chunk of this, so we're going to go ahead and do that first. And as we're asking you to hold your questions until the end of each topic, since this one is a little lengthy, I would ask you to maybe write down your questions or type them into the GoToMeeting so that you don't forget and we make sure that we answer everybody's questions today. All right, here we go. We're going to jump right in with one of our newest features. And this is called Limit, Cancel, or Suspension Reason by Agreement. So before this release, every cancel or suspension reason was available for all agreements. With this change, cancellation reasons and suspension reasons can now be limited to certain agreements. So this is going to be set up in MoSo in one of two places, either cancellation suspension reasons, or you're going to configure it under Add or Edit Agreement screen. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right now. All right, in MoSo, I've got our cancellation reasons and our suspension reasons tabs pulled up here. So obviously, this is what you've already got configured right here. So as I said, currently, every cancellation reason has to be available for every single agreement, and same with suspension reasons. Every suspension reason is available for every agreement. Well, now in both of these sections, we've added a tab that's called Available for Agreements. So if we click on that, we can see that we've got our classifications of membership agreement or of agreements, members and services. Any other type of agreement classification would be listed as well. All of the membership agreements that we have that are active are showing right now. I can also show the inactive agreements if I'd like. We've just got one. So the active membership and service agreements are showing. Now, when your club moves into Atlas, because previously every reason was available for every agreement, it's going to look a little bit like this, where it says that all of these reasons are available for all of the agreements. So going into each reason, you can now edit or uncheck the agreements that this doesn't apply to. So if you're moving and you're on a summer student membership, summer student memberships are probably short term, so we're probably not going to allow the cancellation reason of moving for that particular agreement. Maybe not on a commit membership either, and maybe we don't allow that for a 1 month access. So whatever that looks like, you can pick and choose based on the agreement and the reason, so that you can limit, again, the cancellation or suspension reason by the type or by the agreement that you're actually selling, not even the type of agreement, just the actual agreement that you're selling. So this looks the same in suspension reasons. You'll find it right here. And so this is the place where you would configure this for inside of cancellation or suspension reasons. If you were going to do this from the agreements tab, this would probably be if you were going to add any new agreements after you have been moved over to Atlas. You would highlight the agreement that you have or that you've started, click Edit, and then from here you've got these two tabs, suspension reasons, cancel rewrite reasons. So from here you can decide which of the reasons that are already configured are going to apply to this agreement that you've just added. Great. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like with a member. I'm going to look at my trusty member, Mary, here. And if we look at the agreements and we begin to start a cancel, we can see that the reasons for canceling this agreement out of the several cancellation reasons we have, we've only got 5 that are going to be available for this particular agreement. So you would select that, continue through the cancellation wizard, And there you go. The same with suspensions. You would go to suspension, add new, and again, you would see the reasons that are available for this particular agreement right here listed as the reason for the suspension. While we're discussing cancellations and suspensions, I wanted to point out another new feature that we've added in Atlas. And this is the ability to flag cancels and suspensions as exceptions. So a new exception reason, exception value, and exception comment can now be added to cancels and suspensions to document why exactly you're making this decision outside of your normal business practice. So these can be added through the cancellation and suspension wizards. And once you've associated this particular exception reason, you can view it through the existing cancellation request screen and the suspensions tab. The exception reasons are going to be configured through a new module called exception reasons screen, or called exception reasons. It's just that screen. And the permissions are going to be needed to have access to this configuration as well. So let's take a look at this. So exception reasons are going to be, this is going to be the new module that we open to create these. Now you can add any type of exception reason that you want. And obviously these are going to be all up to you and who's configuring these in your back office. So we've got a couple that you may use, or maybe something that you would like to consider, such as canceling before obligation. Maybe it was a customer service issue that they're canceling or suspending. Maybe there was no fee collected, so this was an exception to cancel this particular agreement. So once you associate the reason, once everything's set up, these can be added as you go through the cancel suspend process. So let's go ahead and see what this would look like. We'll go to Mary's agreement, her personal training agreement. Let's go to cancel. And our reason for cancel is going to be an admin cancel. And the exception reason that I'm going to choose today is customer service issue. And I'm going to say, let's pretend we never had any towels. Always out of towels. The cancellation fee may be $50 for this agreement, or it may be $150. And so I may be waiving part of that. So let's say it's a $100 fee and I'm waiving 50%. So maybe I want to put in $50 here because that was the whole value of the exception that I made for her. So now if we go through this agreement wizard, can't type today, I apologize. We click next. We're going to immediately cancel. And there we go. So we've canceled this agreement. Now when we look at the existing cancellation requests, we can see when the effective date was, the reason, and then we can also scroll over here to see if any exception was noted. Now, if no exception was given, you're still going to see these columns. They'll just be empty. So the same thing will happen with suspensions. If we wanted to suspend Mary's agreement, we've got these reasons as well. If there's no exception, that's fine. You can just continue on. But the same thing would happen and you'd be able to view it through the suspension wizards as well. Continuing on with our agreements theme, we're now going to talk about commission codes. So the ability to add commission codes to an agreement was added in Atlas. So what this can do is it can help you track whether a commission should be paid on an agreement. So obviously every business, every club has different reasons for denying commission, and they may vary from A member not qualifying for a particular promotion, signatures not being collected at the time of the agreement, invalid funding source, or a funding source that wasn't used at all sorts of different things. So if your salespeople are given the opportunity to correct the problem, that's wonderful. And at this point, you can add a commission code back. If they don't correct the problem, you can remove the commission code if necessary. So these codes will definitely be maintained most often by the back office staff. But because we've added this in this release, we obviously want to go over what exactly it does and how you guys can set it up. So we have a new module called commission status codes. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So if you start typing in commission, you'll see that commission status codes are going to pop up. So here are your commission status codes right here. You get to create these. So I've created a few that I thought maybe would work in some of your businesses. For membership consultants, obviously there is a standard commission that may be given on each membership agreement. I know we've worked with some customers that after a certain number of agreements in a month or in a pay period, then they would give a bonus commission. So standard commission plus $20 or something like that. Maybe your sales reps get a bonus for PT at point of sale. And maybe they also get a bonus if they add childcare as an upsell item or something similar to that. So these are just a couple that I've chosen to put in here. Now notice I have not selected default on any of these commission status codes. What this would do if I were to select default is this would automatically add this commission code to any agreement that you have. Now, if we were to assume that every sales rep is going to collect everything they need and only sell the right agreements to every person, why not? We could absolutely put this as a default. If you audit every single agreement, and at that point, that's where you do your exceptions and you add commission or take away commission, then you may not want to add a default because you may want to just put your own commission codes onto each agreement. So this is completely up to you. And these codes can be edited and removed at any time, and a removed history is going to be maintained. So going from here, let's take a look at what this looks like when it's actually applied to its scenario, which is auditing agreements. So if we're going to look at Mary Member and see the agreement that she was sold, which was a 1-year membership, we can click on this. And then we can go to edit and we can go to commission codes. So a standard commission code was put in here. So let's say that's great. It was a standard commission code. PT at POS looks like it was formerly in the assigned code column. So what this would mean is she did sell a PT membership or any type of personal training at point of sale. And again, this is one I just made up, but it looks like that was canceled on the same day. So we're going to remove that commission from there. Let's pretend the agreement she sold included childcare. I could add that to the assigned codes. I could then create a comment, 3 children, all using Kids Club, let's pretend. And then I can click save. So that will be in these assigned codes. Now we can also remove any of these codes at any time. So if we didn't have childcare within this bundle, we can just remove it and it will keep notes of what was added or signed or removed, all of that fun stuff right here within these records. Now it's important to remember that this is just the first phase in building out a larger, more functional commission structure within MoSo. So there are no monetary values assigned to these. These commission codes are simply for your benefit to be able to flag different agreements, to again add a bonus commission, or to say this agreement is just a standard commission. It looks like we sold PT with this one. These are just flags for your purposes. To set them up, again, we do need to go through the commission code status. You can make any commission code active or inactive at any time. You can update. If we look at all of the inactive codes, we've got a bunch of inactive codes as well. So remember that to access these commission status codes, you're definitely going to need a new permission, and you can find all of that information in the wiki, as well as really anything else that you want to know that we're not going over right here to do with commission codes. Okay, let's continue right through to the proof text on promotions. So I'm calling this the proof of eligibility text. So what happens here is we now have the ability to configure a prompt that asks for proof of the reason a person may be eligible for a promotion. So if you have promotions for military, for police and fire, if you have a promotion that's only redeemable with a mail-in flyer that you got, and these are all things that you want your sales reps to make sure that they collect, this is where you'll be able to configure that today. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this may look like in MoSo. So this is going to be using the promotion management module. So in promotions right now, we currently only have one promotion. And you can see it's $25 off. It's available to the GMs and sales admins. You can see all of the fun things in general about the configuration of this $25 off. Now, if we go to conditions, a promo code, obviously we know that that's something that we've added to MoSo, but here's where you can require a proof text and then what you want that text to be. So we're asking that someone show a flyer for the proof of this $25 off. So maybe it's a mail-in flyer, maybe it's one that they received on the sidewalk when our sales reps were doing prospecting. Whatever that may look like, we want to make sure that our person has it before they get those $25 off. So let's look at how that's going to affect a member setup. So let's find a member that's not a member. Eric Mass is not a member. Let's go ahead and sell him a new agreement. I'm going to just sell him a membership agreement. We'll go with a 1 year commit. We're obviously moving through all the steps. Here we go. So here's this promotion. If I select this, it's automatically going to give me this reminder that he needs to show a flyer to do this. Now I don't have to scan the flyer to move on. This is just going to prompt your sales folks to remember that they need this flyer if they're going to use this promotion. If that's something that you want scanned into documents at a different time, you can absolutely do that. So we'll click OK. We'll move on. So it's just going to ask for that prompt. That's all we want, is for the sales reps to be reminded that they either need to show identification or they need to show proof of the reason this particular person is eligible for this promotion. Please keep in mind that as long as you have access to configure or manage promotions, you'll also have access to configuring the proof of eligibility text. And all of those permissions, of course, can be housed within the staff work roles, and you can take a look at the wiki for more specifics on that.